Good morning, guys. Raptor Freak Alexiot's here on Friday morning. This morning, I want to talk about stuff like this: championship rings, Larry O'Brien trophies, win it all, baby. All right. A month ago, I was saying, way before everybody else, that the Raptors are actually a playoff team when everybody was predicting them to be out of the playoffs this season. And now everybody's caught up to me and they starting to see that, yes, this is a playoff team. A lot of NBA experts are saying it. All the Raptors experts are saying that this is a playoff team now. Some of the NBA guys aren't really yet, but they'll wake up soon. They'll be the next ones to figure it out. So I want to get a timestamp down today, right now, October 15th, my father's birthday. Happy birthday, Dad. I'll get that out of the way. That I'm predicting the Raptors win their second championship this year. Yeah. And people think I'm crazy. Well, I am a little crazy. And yes, I am a little fanatical and I'm a little bit passionate. But there's real evidence for why this could happen, guys. There's real evidence. And there's some reasons why we're more set up than any other NBA team in the league to win a championship this year. And I know in my Eastern Conference preview that I did earlier, about a month ago or so, I said that the Raptors are a top 4 Eastern team. And I explained a lot of reasons why we are a top 4 Eastern team. And, these are the same reasons why we can win a championship. So if you saw that video, you'll understand some of what I'm saying already. But I'll go over it a little bit now still. First and foremost, the Toronto Raptors as an organization is the number one sports franchise in modern sports right now. I don't care what sport it is. You can pick baseball, you can pick football, you can pick any sport in the world. You can pick all the soccer leagues in the world. The best run franchise and best franchise in sports today on this planet is the Toronto Raptors, because there's a level of excellence that permeates every level and every department of this franchise. That we have the best sports medicine, we have the best medical, we have the best strength and conditioning, we have one of the best coaches in the league, we have the best general management, we have the best president, Masai Ujiri. These things all really add up, and these are important things that don't get counted when these experts figured out their standings and predictions for the year. They don't think about this and how important this springboard is for teams to succeed in the NBA. That there are so many other teams that have holes in their organization in different spots that the Raptors don't have, that they'll have problems this year because of it. Like whether it's Wes Unseld Jr. being a bad coach or a team having an inexperienced GM. The Celtics have a rookie head coach this year too. There's all these other teams have issues and problems with their franchises in their organizations, whether it's players, whether it's an inexperienced coach, they all have problems compared to us. We're set up. We're set up. And the other reason why we're set up to win is because our team's built around defense and rebounding. These are the fundamental things that win championships throughout the history of the NBA. This whole period of time in the 2010s of LeBron time with superstar big three basketball is dying, guys. Last year, Milwaukee won the championship. 3 years ago, we won the championship. And both those teams were like the new NBA coming forward. Like if you made me pick 4 teams to be in the Eastern Conference Finals and the Western Conference Finals right now, this is who I would pick. Toronto and Milwaukee and Phoenix and Denver. See, I didn't pick Brooklyn and I didn't pick the Lakers because they're going the old way about it, the way that doesn't work anymore, the way that gets you to the finals with Kevin Durant on half a leg and none of the rest of your team around. These teams that are so top heavy with superstars, in COVID times, they lose one guy, like Kyrie's gone. Their teams aren't as good. They lose so much talent from that. And the Raptors, through their whole squad, have talent. We are the deep team in this league. People don't even realize this right now. We are probably maybe the deepest team in the league right now when it comes to talent, because right now we have 2 starting lineups. We have 2 starting lineups full of good talent. We have 2 different teams we could put out there that could start. 10 guys that could start on our team. So what happens is, and this, if you've seen this in the preseason so far, in the second quarter, when the other team starts putting their bench players in and we start putting our bench players in, all of a sudden we're blowing them out. And we've been doing this the last couple of years. If you notice, whenever bench players come in, Toronto just starts kicking the other team's ass. It's because our starters and their starters are pretty equal. But when the bench starts coming in, we just outmatch them. We just have a talent drop off that doesn't happen from the starters to the bench. And this is going to be even worse for other teams this year because we're going to have guys coming in with plus size and plus skill, and they're going to be off the bench too. Our rookies are probably going to be coming off the bench, Barnes and Banton, and that's going to be nasty. You're not going to want to see these guys coming off the bench at you all of a sudden. You're going to have OG go out, and then you're going to have Barnes on you. It's like it's no drop off. So people need to really realize that the fundamentals of defense, rebounding, our system, and what we preach and what we're all about is going to get us there. Other teams have all kinds of character flaws and defects and problems with getting together and being one and working as a unit and having a collective dream and goal like that. Other teams have a hard time corralling their whole players on the same page and even understanding what they're going towards. We don't. We know what we're doing. We're very focused and we're very all about it. So this is the thing. Every year, a fan in Cleveland who roots for the Browns sees his team and he knows his team's been garbage for decades, but he still thinks that at the beginning of the year, the Browns can win the Super Bowl. Is he delusional? Is he crazy? No, he's a fan. He loves his team so much that he really actually believes that that can happen, even if it's probably not really possible. So I don't get it when I profess that I think that the Raptors can win the championship and other supposed Raptor fans start telling me how they can't. Like, seriously, are you rooting for this team or not? Why can't we believe that they can win a championship this year? Why do you limit yourself by saying, oh, well, Scotty's a rookie. We have too much young players. Next year maybe, but not this year. Why? Why do you limit yourself in your mind like that? We don't know how quickly these guys will develop and learn the system and play really well under it. Scotty Barnes and Delano Banton could look like vets by this time. Now, I want everybody to think about this. Like in January, if the Raptors are the number one team in the Eastern Conference, will you think at that point that they have a chance to win in the NBA championship this year? Like if we have the best record in the Eastern Conference in January, will you feel like the Raptors have a chance to win an NBA championship at that time? Because this is the thing. We're going to stack wins. Here in Toronto, our home crowd and the energy and just the feelings of being back here, it's like kind of like being in a movie where you got slighted by the bully and now you're coming back on them. This is it. We're coming back on them because we were slighted last year, and this year we're coming back on them. And all that energy that we saved up last year rooting for them 1,000 miles away is going to be out there, and it's going to be huge. It's going to buoy this team. And what happens is when a team has some success and does well and sees what's working, they get confidence and they get rolling. And this is the thing. We may have problems with our offense at times, but our defense is always going to be there. It's going to be there to save us. So we get somewhere. We have a winning record. We're one of the top 4 teams by the end of the year, and we have home court advantage in the playoffs, and we have 7-game series against teams. I'll take us 4 games against any team in this league. Any team, because I know we'll outwork them. We will outwork them. We will out-scrap them. We will out-rebound them. We will outdo everything to them to win. And Fred's not going into 7-game series thinking he's going to lose. We're going to go into every series and think we can take them down. And we will. We'll dismantle them. We'll scrap them. We'll steal them. We'll block them. We'll do all the things we need to do. All the fundamental things. All the things that the DNA of basketball teaches us is championship basketball. This is like the Hoosiers, baby. This is like a team coming together for a bigger purpose. This is like 80s and 90s college basketball. This is team concept basketball. This is everybody all together, all for one. And the other teams in the league are behind us on this. They're still stuck in the LeBron superstar big three mentality place. They're all trying to build big threes, and that's a dead dinosaur, y'all. The league's moving away from that. This league is about balance. This league is about all players being good now. And if you don't have all your players good, you're going to lose. You're going to lose to the Raptors because we'll run you off the court. Yes, good morning, Sue. I truly believe this. I don't think anybody's going to want to face us in the regular season even. Forget about even getting the playoffs. By then, they'll really not want to face us because it's going to be stifling. It's going to be so hard. And we're built on the right characteristics for a championship team. Defense and rebounding win championships. Not offensive juggernauts, guys that score like crazy, like James Harden, but doesn't play any defense. He doesn't win championships. No. So we got to look at our strengths and believe, even if it's hard to visualize. Think about it this way. In 2018, around this time, I personally had given up on the NBA. This is when I first started to boycott the NBA. I was so disillusioned with the NBA, the way that the Raptors lost in that last playoff with DeMar. I felt like we got railroaded on some calls and put out of the playoffs. And I was mad. And then I saw Golden State win again. And then Golden State went and got DeMarcus Cousins. And, I was just like, well, what's the point of even watching this season? Golden State's just going to win again. That's what I was saying at the beginning of the 2018-2019 season. I'd already given up before the season had even started. Golden State stacked. Okay, let's just give them the championship. But what happened? The season had to happen, and things had to happen. And what happened? Well, we got into the playoffs. We beat Orlando. We had an amazing series with Philadelphia, and we won on a last-second shot. Then we went head-to-head with Milwaukee, and we beat them 4 games straight after losing 2 games to them. And then we went to the finals. And by then, Golden State wasn't as badass as they looked on paper at the beginning of the season. They had lost players. They had players that were injured. And this is something that is huge about this year. This COVID thing ain't going away. Guys are going to miss games. And if players are huge parts of teams are going to suffer. But we have something we have equal load bearing on our team. We have like 10 guys that are carrying it all equally. So if one steps away because they have to, or something happens, we can keep carrying it and keep carrying the thing. Like we haven't missed a beat with Pascal being out. And Pascal's just only going to push us even higher. Chris Boucher, same thing. We need to realize how good we really are. Sure, we're young. Sure, they're going to make mistakes. But this is a thing. We have special rookies that are always already showing a care and a love and a respect for the game and how to do it right. There's a learning curve that's different for these guys than other rookies on other teams because their learning curve isn't necessarily learning the same things as what Jalen Green or Jalen Suggs are going to learn on their teams. They're going to learn about how to win. They're going to learn about the dirty little things that it takes to win and the things that are important to win, not just how you score and how you become an NBA player. They're going to learn how to win on this team. Like Scotty Barnes to me is the glue guy this year. Scotty Barnes is the X factor. Scotty Barnes is the guy who's going to fill in whatever we need in that moment. And he's also the glue guy behind the scenes socially on the team, which is fantastic. He's going to do a lot for us on the down low and on the court. Little things. All right, Sue, let's see what Sue's saying this morning. This is going to happen to the Nets this year. They won't be as good as everyone says with Kyrie or injuries. I truly believe that. That's why when I named 4 teams to be in the Eastern and Western Conference Finals, I didn't name Brooklyn. I didn't name the Lakers. I think Brooklyn has huge problems. I think that the way that they built their team is never going to win because it's just not that kind of team that wins. It isn't. Anybody who thinks that a big 3 superstar team like that is a strong team is wrong. It's a weak team at this point. Having a big 3 on your team is a weakness because that means that you put so much salary into 3 guys that your bench and your rest of your guys are just not quality. And if you come and play us in Toronto or we come play you, you can play your starters against us for the first quarter. But when they, or have to play them the whole game, we're going to tire them out. But when you start having to put bench players here and there, your talent's going to get outclassed. It's going to get outclassed bad. That happened to Washington and Houston this week already. that at a certain point, you may have had a better starting lineup in some ways, but at some point you're gonna have to bring bench players in, and you're gonna hit a wall there where we don't have a drop off in talent. That our talent's gonna be fluid and consistent throughout the whole game. Like last year, we had problems getting bench points because we had no bench. We had to play Yuta and Freddie were starting last year, Freddie Gillespie. So it's like we had no bench production. People have short memories. They think last year is where we are and who we really are, but they have no idea that last year was not us. Think about the San Antonio Spurs at the end of the 90s. There was one year where David Robinson missed the whole season, and the Spurs had one of the worst records in the NBA that year. Then they drafted Tim Duncan with the first pick because they had such a bad year. And you know what happened? They went from one of the worst win totals to one of the best. They had one of the highest win turnovers from the year before, like up. And I think that's going to happen with us this year. I think that what happened with San Antonio with Tim Duncan and that whole cycle of having one bad year and getting a really good player and then going into a dynasty for the next 10 years is going to happen to us on the download. May not be on the same scale of the biggest thing, but Scotty Barnes in some ways to me is a lot like Tim Duncan. That we just got a transformational player to our franchise because we had one really bad year where we missed the playoffs. And that we're a playoff team already. We've always been a playoff team. We were a playoff team last year if we hadn't got COVID. But now, because we had such a bad year last year record-wise, we got the number 4 pick, and we got a lottery guy who's coming in. Now, people will say, well, he needs time to develop. He needs time to learn. Well, listen, we have room for him to learn along the way to still be really good. Like we don't know what the timetable is on their development and how well they can help contribute to this team in productive and really good positive ways. They're already doing it and showing it and not hurting us. So when people say, oh, it'll be next year the soonest. No, let's not wait. Let's not wait. Why can't it be this year? Why can't it be? If y'all are Raptor fans, why can't we believe? Why can't we just aim for the top? Why can't we just do that? Do we have to do the steps? We know what the steps are. We've been through them. We've been through each step with this franchise at other times. Pascal and Fred know the steps. So why can't we think that they can win a championship this year? That why can't we think that around January, the NBA experts who didn't even think we were going to make the playoffs now are going to be like, well, the Raptors could actually win the championship if something goes right for them and this like that, because it could happen that way. Paul B, thank you for tuning in this morning. It's tiring hearing people chuckle then when say this isn't a championship year. What do you think the players are going out there for? Yeah, nobody's going out there to be like, oh, yeah, this isn't going to be a championship. These guys aren't playing that way or thinking that way. This is exactly right. And I thank God that our competitors on our team don't think the way that a lot of our fans do. Because, sure, we can be realistic. And this is a great thing. We can't fail because everybody expects nothing from us already. So all we can do is like succeed like in a huge way, like a grand slam home run, because that's what's going to happen. We're going to be good no matter what. We're going to win games no matter what. So it's just really once we get in the playoffs and the positions we have, the matchups we have, and the grit we have in those series will get us where we get. So I know, man, Paul, it bugs me. It bugs me how, if we're Raptor fans, why can't we aim for the top? Other fans of sports teams, they could be the worst team for decades. They still think that. I know there's some people that are Leaf fans that are like, the Leafs could win a Stanley Cup this year. I mean, I think that sounds more crazy, but you know what? It's probably realistic and true that the Leafs could win the Stanley Cup this year. And that would be great. I'd love the Leafs to win the Stanley Cup. Don't get me wrong about yesterday. I want the Leafs to win. And you know what would happen? If the Leafs start doing really well, I'll jump on their bandwagon. Just like everybody jumps on our bandwagon. I'll get on their bandwagon right before they win a championship and help them get that little last bit and say, oh, yeah, go Leafs, go, and help them get that little last bit. Yeah, and then all the Leaf fans that suffered all those years can hate me for jumping on the bandwagon and just feeling the success at that last second like people did with the Raptors in 2019. Okay, but anyway, yes, we have to believe, Sue. We have to believe. We know because we're watching them. We're paying attention to them every day. We understand them. We see the character. We see the different things that, I'm seeing stuff on Instagram. If y'all want to know, go on Instagram and follow every single Raptor right now. Like find all of them. Civ, Gary Trent, Kem Birch, they're all on there and they're dropping content every day. And you can see inside stuff of what's going on with them. Like the Leaf game the other night, Gary Trent was at the game. He was posting Instagram stuff at the game for the Leafs. So it's a fun interactive year. You can see what's going on with these guys. But getting back to things real quick. I want Raptor fans to not laugh at people that think that we can win a championship this year. I want Raptor fans to actually get on board and believe it. What's the harm? Why can't you say, yeah, I think we can win a championship? Because if they do, then you look like Nostradamus. I'm going to tell you right now, the year the Raptors won the championship, I was saying they were going to win it in April. And it was March or something. It was right when they made the Gasol trade. I said, we're going to win the championship. When we traded Jonas for Gasol, it's like, we're going to win the championship. And there's a timestamp of me saying that at that point. And people probably thought I was crazy at that point. They thought I was crazy when we got Gasol, and then we went on and we did win the championship. So they're going to think we're crazy because, there's a lot of people that still have this stigma and think that the Raptors are the expansion Raptors in their head, like the purple dinosaur Raptors. So, all right, let's go. Let's see what else you guys are saying here. The U.S. media wants to jam that down our throats, so they will convince us of that, so we'll give up and lose. Yeah. I mean, it's a weird, like, I know that the fan base and how we feel doesn't really affect how the players are doing because they really insulate themselves from all this noise and all this chatter about different things and stuff. They really just focus on what they're doing, and they listen to their coaches and they listen to the people that are around them, which is great because a lot of it is just nonsense. And that keeps them focused and on the right path towards things without distractions. It's just really smart. Our team's very smart about limiting problems around the team. Like other franchises have problems left and right. I mean, but we are really good at like not having them in the first place. So, all right, Paul, what did you think of the Sam Dekker press? I'm glad you brought this up, Paul. I really did want to talk about these yesterday. They were really interesting. And you know what I took from the 3 interviews yesterday with Bonga, Wainwright, and Dekker is that I think that we need to keep the guys, the 6'7" guys, and cut Wainwright. I know I said this week that it looks like we're going to keep Wainwright because we got him on a 2-year. But honestly, the more I think about it, I want to go tall. Let's get the 6'7" guys and and cut Wainwright because we have guards. We have big guys and can be backup guards. And if the only 3 guys on our team that are under 6'7" are Goran, Malachi, and Fred, and then the rest of the team is 6'7" and up, I'll be very, very, very happy because that means we're playing with size overall most of the time. And Wainwright's a little duplicitous with Dekker. Dekker, because he did so well with his 3-point shooting, I don't know if we need Wainwright as much because he is a shorter 3-point shooter. And, he's an Anthony Parker type player, but maybe that's an old thing from an old team and that we're a new era and a new kind of team that's all 6'9" and up. So I'm leaning towards cutting Wainwright now and keeping Yuta, Sam, and Isaac. I keep saying Isaac, but it's Isaac Bonga. So that's where I'm at with that. But about the presser, yes, Sam Dekker went to Turkey and he killed his ego. That's what happened, guys. And I love him for it. It may be that when he was around J.R. Smith, he was an asshole and that he hadn't matured yet. But he took him going to Turkey and being away from everybody and finding himself, killing his ego and realizing what is important. And any person that's killed their ego and is able to go forward in life and have a second chance like he's going to go really far. Because he transformed as a person in the last 2 years from what he said in his press conference yesterday. And to me, that just shows great insight and maturity that he was able to understand himself in different places in his life and different times, and that he's become a better person for it. And I love that press conference. That was super impressive what he said, Paul, yesterday. It made me be like, we got to have this guy on this team. Because I feel like at this point, whether he did the other night to Washington, somebody else is going to pick him up if we don't get him, and he's going to mess us up. But I love the fact that he says he's going to root for us no matter what, even if he gets cut. He loves this guy. He's never been around such a great group of guys in basketball. And he appreciates that. And you know it's true. And you can see it. Come on. We know our guys are the best. So it's like, I want Sam on this team bad now. Like he has to, I think he's essential to keep at this point. And that the decision's really between Bonga and Wainwright at this point. So, man, yeah, super classy, well-spoken, and just understands it. And this is the kind of difference in different kind of personalities and people on the team we need. We need a guy with his kind of growth, with his ego there, because he really did. He went to Turkey and killed his ego. You know, he had an ego before. He didn't say it outright, but that's what he did. He realized his ego was a problem with himself. And that's what happened. And I commend anybody who does something for self-improvement like that, because it's huge. It's a huge thing. It's really hard to do, to get real with yourself and understand this. I mean, I've had to do a lot of this work with myself. I mean, when I was a youngster, I was a brash, crazy drunk. Well, all out there in the street. Yeah, you wouldn't want to, I was crazy. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that was a great question. Thank you, Paul. All right, Sue, I see we have Josh and Alex to 10-day for G League. So it looks like we were trying to recreate Big Guys for G League to mirror what we're doing in Rap. Smart. Yeah, why not? If we're building the mold of the team, we want to make sure we have the players that fit that mold. And it looks like the mold is 6'9". So getting more 6'9" guys that have talent with the ball handling and different things like that on the guys coming up, that's the thing. We're just going to keep more and more development and just more and more waves of great players coming up. That's why we're never going to be bad. And we never have to rely on the draft too much, because we get players signed and we develop them. And that's what we do. And we will succeed, because we'll always have good players coming in, like for a long, long, long time. And that's why I think Scotty Barnes, if he's smart and he thinks about things like Tim Duncan did, if he can be like Tim Duncan and stay with us for the majority of his career for a long, long time, he's going to see these different waves of development come through, and he's never going to have a lull of losing on the Raptors. He can win on our team for 10 years, 12 years straight. If he sticks around with us and develops and becomes our glue guy, our main guy, because they're going to lure him. They're going to try and get him down south some way, somehow. But I really hope that he has the maturity and the insight to understand that this franchise is the way to go, because he can win a lot of championships here if he stays here. Okay, click 2 a.m. Good morning. Thank you. Yes, Sam Decker, very classy, very wise. Tall is the way to go, because that if we cut Wainwright, he's the only other, like, he's the short guy in the bunch. And a lot of what he does is already duplicated with other players on the roster. So, like, Sam Decker's a better three-point shooter than Wainwright. And we've got guys that can get steals. And to be honest, when I listened to their interviews yesterday, I know that Wainwright fought hard to get back. And he was over there with Decker and Turkey and stuff like that. But there's just a different tone to how he's acting right now and how Decker and Bonga are acting. Like, to me, Wainwright is a little too casual. He's a little too, like, I'm watching his Instagram too lately, and I don't know how focused and how, I don't know if he's the right guy. Like, he's a good dude, and he cried in his interview earlier this summer and stuff like that about making it, but I think that it's him that's out. And I think we'd be smart to keep Bonga. And we definitely don't want Decker going to another team and killing us at some point this season, because he's going to do that. This guy's a deadly weapon now. He's like what we wanted Matt Thomas to be, except he's like 5 inches taller, which is crazy. All right, Paul B. I think Goran needs to get traded for Moses Brown somehow. This is Moses Brown. Somebody talking about, isn't it the guy? Yeah, Moses Brown. He's on Dallas. He's the guy everybody keeps talking about. He's a youngster. He was on Oklahoma City before, right? I don't mind this, and I think that, you know, this trade happens. I'm all for it. But once again, like with everything, I don't really talk about anything until it actually happens. So, but yeah, all right. So this year, guys, seriously, let's get the second one of these. Why can't we? Why can't we? Why can't we get a second championship ring? You know, what NBA fans, what Raptor fans are trying to tell me we can't get a second one of these this year? And why are you telling me that? Because you may need to search your whole fandom of the team. Like, why do you want to be pessimistic about a team that you love? You should want the team to win an NBA championship. When somebody else says he could win an NBA championship, don't laugh at them, because you know what? They could. It's in the realm of possibility. If the Cleveland Browns fans can think that they got a Super Bowl chance every year, then we can have a chance to win an NBA championship every year. I mean, this is what I'm saying. Everybody thinks we're the team last year. Well, we're not the team last year. We're the team over the 10 years before that, and the team that we are now. Last year was a hiccup. So a lot of these prognosticators are just basing it off that. And then they're like, well, Lowry's gone, and who do you have? You know what? Lowry hasn't been that super important to our team for a while. Lowry's been kind of a luxury and just kind of a figurehead leader around, but he hasn't been essential. If you look at our team record without Lowry over the last 2 years, it's pretty damn good. I think we only lost like one game without Lowry in like 2 years. It was like 20-1 or something like that. He'd be out of the lineup and we won the games. So everybody's putting way more, too much importance on Kyle Lowry on this team. And when they weigh and they figure out how good it's going to be, and they devalue Fred, they devalue Pascal, and they're looking at OG and they're like, yeah, OG's really good, but they didn't do that for OG many years now. They've always devalued him too, but this year they're waking up to him. So, all right, click 2 a.m. Moses Brown would help us so much. 7'7" has so much potential. Great rebounding, rim protector, and it's going to help win games. Yeah, I mean, I'm all for getting another taller guy. I mean, I know that a lot of people are worried about Kem Birch being our starting center. I think he's adequate and he's going to do great. But, if we can upgrade either sometime this season or in the offseason next year and have more of a true center that can – the other thing about Moses, though, is he looks skinny, though, guys. Like, I don't know if he'd be much better down low against guys than somebody like Boucher. So, in fact, I think Kem Birch might be able to handle big guys better than Moses right now. Like, Moses got to fill out a little bit and get better. He's really raw and really young, the little bit that I've seen of him. So, okay, Paul B., we were 17-0 to start without Lowry after championship year. Yes, we've proven we can win without Lowry. It's just like people that think because Lowry's gone, we're going to be losers now. Or they're just they haven't watched the Raptors right, and that's mostly NBA people, not Raptor fans. Okay, Paul, I think Birch is fine, but an upgrade will always be welcome. And you think Gary Trent will be trade bait? I hope not, because honestly, like I said, I think it was yesterday, one of the last streams I did. I think Gary Trent is a good piece to have, and that he's going to be deadly for us, and he's going to do stuff for us where we're going to fall in love with him. There's going to be at some point this year he's going to hit a big shot and win another game like he did that one game last year, and everybody's going to be like, we need this guy, because he's more like, right now he sucks because his shot's not going in, but he's even looked good even though his shot's not going in, and he has improved on defense. He's a lot better on defense this year than he was even last year. So I think that Gary's a great fit. I think that we need our shooters. And since he's on our team, we got to encourage him and make him feel like he's got the green light and that he's the man, because his confidence is really important out of a lot of the different players. We need to have Gary have confidence in his shot and making him. But if he's trade bait at some point because he's not working out or something like that, then that happens. And he can be moved because, like I said the other day, his contract's really attractive to other teams. And, we could get something good for him if we want to. But no, we want him. This is the thing. I don't like talking about trading guys out too much because it adds to that whole buzz around the whole city of different people like, oh, Pascal needs to be traded. Pascal needs to be traded. I don't like that because I don't want the players to feel like we don't want them. I want the players to feel like we want them. Like, our team isn't really quick with the moves and the trades. Like, we don't frivolously just trade quickly. Like some other teams in the NBA, they trade guys so quick that on those teams, players have to worry about maybe being moved all the time. The Raptors stay pat more. Players feel more comfortable and safe. Like, they don't have to look over their shoulder as much on some of the other teams where they're like, oh, you could get moved at any time. The Raptors invest in people. and keep them around. And they're smart about it. They do it in a really good way, so that, because it's the kind of thing where you can fracture relationships real easy, like what's happening with Simmons right now, where it's like like if you're in a relationship with a girl or somebody that you're dating, and you kind of half mess up the relationship, and then you still have to date for some reason, maybe because you're both on the same lease till the end of the month, and it's just awkward and awful. You don't want that kind of feeling in a franchise between a player and the management. So it's really important that you keep clear lines of communication, and the players don't feel like they could get the rug pulled out from underneath them all of a sudden and they're on another team. I mean, that happens. Like, look at what happened with Norman last year. It happens, but you do it in a respectful way where it's really humanitarian way towards your players. And then, we just don't have a lot of this kind of talk, just because in general, it's not healthy for guys to feel like they may be on the block all the time. I don't think it's a healthy thing. So, all right, let's go. Gary is a shot creator. Yes, his defense is much better. Yeah, his defense is much better. And this year, we've got so many guys that can make up for mistakes on defense at the closer to the basket. I love that. We can clean up mistakes. These rookies are going to make mistakes, but they're going to clean them up like almost instantly. Their talent and athleticism is amazing. And and we have so many different guys like that they can come and help. And it's just, once we see the moving parts in the way that Nick Nurse has got it set up, like with the system, people will really understand. Like when we get Pascal and Boucher back, our guys are really going to start doing our defensive system in a way that people will be like, whoa, the Raptors defense is nasty. Because we've got a set up way of doing it with our vets that they know how to do it, and they will teach the rookies, and they'll be integrated in a safe way where we don't lose the toughness and the strength of our defense and how it rotates and how quick it is and stuff like that. So, Paul, I feel like Norm would have won us every single preseason game. Still miss him. I miss Norm too, man. I love Norm. I love the path he had with the Raptors and what he did here. I love that he won a championship. I love that his friendship with Fred and Pascal and the rest of the guys. But you know what? Norm and Kyle had to go. Both of them. Last year, at some point, I was like, we need to get rid of one or two of these guys, because I saw the future of what we're doing. And we've been pigeonholed for a while as the Raptors of being a slighter team than other teams. And part of it's because of Fred, Kyle, and Norm, because we were playing them at the 1, 2, and the 3. And that's a very short backcourt and small forward. So Norman's great. He's a great player. He's built his game. He deserves everything he's getting, but he outgrew us and we outgrew him. So we couldn't pay him what we wanted. We didn't need to pay him the money he got this summer. We didn't need to pay Lowry the money he got this summer. We were smart. It's a snake. You shed your skin just right so that the new skin comes in nice and shiny and good. Because if you keep guys like Norm and Kyle on these big paydays that they deserve, then it stifles your development with you younger guys and bringing in new blood and stuff like that, because you put all your money into these guys. And I love them both, but they were both undersized for their position. And they kept us undersized as a team as a whole. And now we're tall because they're gone. But yeah, that's the main thing. I love Norman. I wish I miss him. I do. I miss him a lot. Gary's going to be essential when our offense is stagnating. Yes. All these shooters are going to be. Mahalik already showed that he's important for this. Guys like Decker. Decker could be really good for us in spot duty off the bench if we're having a hard time scoring. He could probably get out there and get us some threes quick. So, this is the thing. Gary and Norm are similar in some ways, but Norman's kind of hitting his ceiling. Like, I don't think Norman's going to get much better than he was last year for us or this year for Portland. Gary Trent has a ceiling that he can hit in the next few years still that's even higher. And because he's taller than Norman and he can do a couple of different things different than Norm. Norm's smarter and a better veteran and like more wily than Gary. But that's because he's had years of experience. Now, we can get Gary developed to that point maybe at some point too, but he may be a different type of player. Paul B. I view our team as the 2019 champs number 2 seed before COVID team, and Tampa never happened. And this is our bounce back season with Ibaka and Gasol replacements and a number 4 pick new toy. Yes, I encourage this. All Raptor fans should look at last year as not being a normal year in all kinds of different ways, whether it's because we played in Florida or because there was a pandemic was going on or whatever. Last year is not the normal Raptors. And a lot of the NBA thinks that that's the normal Raptors, but they're completely wrong. We would have been a playoff team last year if everything had gone smooth. Even in Florida, we would have been a playoff team. An article out mentioned Decker on the team. Do they know something we don't already? I didn't. I looked around a little bit this morning. There was no definite buzz about who's been cut or not yet. I think it's gonna come within the next 24 hours. I think they have to make the decision by tomorrow. I think they're making the decision, and they really do want to get the team down. They only have to cut one more guy. They want to get the team down because what they're doing this week leading up to the game on Wednesday is they're really setting up their offense and their defense with their guys. Maybe the whole training camp so far has been like scrimmages and screwing around and seeing what skills and competition, stuff like that. But this week is going to be all about really instituting the defensive scheme and getting them to play it. And this year, they'll be more accountable to playing it. And if they don't, they're not going to be in the game. So Barnes and Banton really got to pay attention this week and learn it fast. The faster these two guys learn this defensive system, the more likely what I'm saying in this video could happen. Because it's really going to be about those rookies getting invested in learning our system inside out and being flawless in it with the rest of the guys. So they can do it. They're already doing it. Like they have the ability and the know-how to do it already. I think that they will, like, really fast. I think that's part of what's limiting people in their mind is they have a time frame in their head. Well, young players take this long to develop. It's going to be next year the soonest we could think about championship. Well, what if they develop really fast? What if they're on the fast track? And what if we develop them in a way where they're not so essential for us to win? They're more like really good role players for us on a championship team. Because we don't have to rely on Scotty to be a 20-point scorer. We don't have to rely on Delano Banton to do anything for us. If he can and he can contribute and come in and do great things for us, that's great. That's just added on top of what we're already trying to build with our core of veterans, the young guys coming in and helping in little ways. Okay, let's see. Click. Boston has had our number for a while. I really hope that changes this season. These Celtic fans are toxic. All right, Boston has had our number once, and that was in the bubble in that 7-game series. And honestly, that series was really close. And if Pascal had done his conditioning right before the bubble, we would have won that series. It was that close. And Pascal was just he made a mistake. He made an error when the pandemic hit, and he stayed in his hotel, his apartment, and didn't do anything. And he lost his conditioning before the bubble, and that really hurt us against the Celtics. But that's the only time the Celtics have owned us. We haven't had to play them in the playoffs very often. And even in the regular season, we're pretty even against them. Every year, we're pretty even with our record against them. So I wouldn't say they own us. They did beat us in that one series, and we do owe them. Like, we do owe them a beatdown. We do. And I love shutting up Celtics fans. I've been around Celtic fans my whole life. They can be some of the most obnoxious people. My former father-in-law was a Celtic fan. My ex-wife's dad. And we had some spirited debates back in the day. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Svi is signed. Yes, Svi's on this team. He's for sure on this team. That's right. Let's see. Taller version of Matt Thomas can shoot off the dribble and provide better defense. That's amazing. Yeah, and he could probably even rebound a little bit for us, too. It looks like Sam Decker. I called him one-dimensional earlier this week, and then he went out at Washington and showed a couple more dimensions along with the really strong one dimension of being able to shoot the three. Losing by 40 of them isn't fun. Celtics, never. Mature and composed. Good locker room presence. Guys, we have character on this team. That's another thing about championship teams. Championship teams have varied guys and role players. It's like a feel like good kind of group. Like the way these guys are. You got Yuta, you got OG, you got Scotty, you just got fun character guys. That's what championship teams are made of guys that come from all walks of life, and they're different, and they come together for one purpose, and they meld together and they kick ass. That's what I'm saying. We got the defense, the rebounding, we got the character and the diversity and the versatility to win a championship. These other teams are going to stumble because guys are going to get hurt. Guys are going to miss games. They're going to lose different key players, and their team is going to be too reliant on that key player that's out. So they're going to lose games in the middle of the season. And I think we're going to win games right off the bat. I'd love to just pencil in 41 wins for all the home games this year because of us, because they're back and they've got our energy, and they're going to be like, whoa, we're back at home. We feel good. That feels good. The fans are really on our side. And that just buoys them to 40 wins because they're at home. 41 wins in Toronto. Let's get that goal. Win every single home game this year. Why not? If we do that, that's the thing. We just get a foot in the door, like Fred said, in the playoffs. Anything can happen. You give us a 7-game series against anyone, I'll put 4 down for us. We will get 4 of those wins in the 7-game series. Decker said that this was the best group of guys. Fred being undrafted and had to claw his way up and all that. See, that's the thing. Our leaders, this is what Decker said. And this is on other teams he's been on, like Cleveland and Washington and different places. There's always been a strata of superstar and then regular player. These guys like LeBron, they put themselves in a whole other part of the team and away from the team. And our team isn't like that. And Kyle really set this up. Kyle and DeMar, over the last 10 years, these guys were our superstars, but they never acted like it. They never did any of this diva shit. They were always with the team, and they were one with the team. And that's great. And that's still with Pascal and Fred. These guys aren't acting like, oh, we're the big money men on the team, so we should get like extra or this, or we don't have to go do this or be a part of this. They're not like that. They're all one, and there's no ego. And that's what Sam Decker's talking about, that there's no big money guys on the team that are acting like, divas. So it's awesome. All right, let's see. Paul, I heard someone say Raptors will win games by running 13 men versus other teams 10, eventually drain them with our defense and win 4th when they are spent. Yeah. I mean, earlier in this video, I was already talking about in the first quarter, let's say both teams play their starters. The second quarter, you get bench guys in. Well, our starters and our bench are going to be very equal in talent. There's not going to be a drop-off. So like the 43-point second quarter we had in one of the preseason games, we can expect the second quarter to be very high scoring for the Raptors because the other teams are going to put in their bench and we're going to put in our bench, and our bench is going to be like a starting lineup. And it's going to just run them off the floor. We're going to outscore teams and score a lot of points in the second quarter. And then later in the game, as the players get tired and stuff like that, we're going to have the same energy at the end of the game, like in the fourth quarter, when their guys are going to be so tired out. They're going to be so tired out. They're going to have us running all over them, and we're going to have guys switching in and out like enough so that none of our guys are getting too spent. It's really going to be like that this year, where we're going to wear people out. We're going to wear them out. We're going to just be all over them, deflections, everything like that. They're going to get so tired, and by the end of the game, they'll be exhausted, and we'll just beat them. So that's what I'm really seeing that possibly happening this year. Where am I with this? Okay, let's see. Click 2 a.m. It's crazy. Our core is 3 guys, 1 undrafted and 2 of them at the bottom of the first round. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. We can make gold out of anything. We don't need lottery picks. We don't need all that hype. We can get guys from the farthest corners of the earth, because Masai Ujiri has those connections, and bring them here and make them into something from nowhere. And that's a deadly thing for development and keeping a franchise really good for a long, long period of time. The Spurs did this for a long time. Like, they started it in the mid-90s and did it right up through to, till now they're still doing it to a degree, but, with different success. But that's really what we're all about, is development and not relying on trades, not relying on signing a big free agent, not relying on getting a high lottery pick. We don't need those things to continue to be really good and get good players to come in, because we're having so many good players. We're having a hard time cutting our team right now. And that means that's good, because usually it's really easy to cut your team down. But this year has been like I think this has been the hardest training camp cuts we've ever had in our franchise this year. Our defense will frustrate superstars and can't wait. Yes. If they didn't like playing against OG and having OG guarding all over them, they're not going to like having Precious and Scotty there too all over them, because it's going to be the same kind of stifling stuff. And we on the down low need to give credit to Pascal also, because Pascal's defense is just as nasty as those guys too. So The thing is, not only do we have all these 6'9" guys, we have two-way guys. We have guys that are offensive and defensive that do it at both courts. It's like it's a prerequisite on this team. If you don't play defense, if you don't do good things on defense, you can't play on this team. You have to play defense, and that's a championship type team. Defense first. That's a championship team. Dame Lillard won't win a championship with his mentality and the way he plays. James Harden will not win a championship the way he plays either. That's just how it is. Okay, let's see. Beal, 1 for 11. Other superstars' numbers are going down against us. This is already happening the last couple of years. The OG effect on leading scorers for other teams. We would just key on one guy. Okay, we'll shut down Trae Young. Trae Young, you're not doing anything else. Okay, John Collins may be able to beat us or something like that. But Trae Young, you're not doing nothing. We're going to make sure you do nothing. So that's the way it's been with us already. We shut down their number one guy. Well, now we're going to shut down probably their number one and their number two guy. Because we can. It's not going to be that hard in some ways. Goran posted the Raps being international, had a bunch of heart emojis, even played a song. Might sound crazy what I'm about to say. I think he's all in. He is all in. He is. Even if he's only all in for a year, he's definitely all in. I love what the Raptors did at their practice court this week. They put all those flags up in there of all the different countries where our players are coming from. They were missing a couple flags, though. They should have the Greece flag. They should have the Jamaican flag. And they should have the Australian flag up there for Trevor Gleeson. Because, these players are from these places too. Jamaica, put Jamaica up there for Scotty Barnes, please. And, Greece is for Alex, for Giannis's little brother. But, yeah, I love that. I love that international feel. This is what I'm telling you. You get people from all walks of life, people with different life experience, and you're stronger. Because if you have all these same kind of knuckleheads that are just street ballers from New York on your team, and they're all kind of the same way, you don't have very worldly perspective, or maybe not like as earned or like really feel like you're earning this or work hard kind of perspective. Some of these guys came from places, that were really far away, and it really means a lot to them to be here. So let's see what's going on else here. Paul, I hope we have the answer for Embiid, Drummond, Giannis, Lopez, all the big guys. Yeah, this is going to be something we're going to have to check on from game to game with the big guys who we're playing and how we do against them. We're going to get ate up sometimes. There's going to be times where Drummond is going to do things like a 14 and 22 rebound game. That's fine. Like I said before, Nick Nurse is willing to give up the big guy, the game to the big guy, because usually the big guy's game is a half-court game. And that means that the other teams pigeonhole to playing half-court and not playing a full-court transition game like we are. So he's willing to concede the big guys doing damage to us, but we got to stop them on all other avenues. So, in some ways it's a really smart kind of thing. Yeah, go ahead and have your inefficient part of your game that kind of hurts the rest of all your players, because big guys playing down low hurts the offensive teams. Sometimes it doesn't cause a fluid offense that's dangerous and could be attacked from everywhere. You know where it's going. It's going down low, and you just got to try and double and stop the big guy. So I like it in a way. Go ahead, try and beat us with your big guy and see what happens. And go ahead, we might let you beat us with your big guy a bit, but you're not going to get us anywhere else, and we're going to beat you overall. So Pascal is in top 10 ISO defense stats. It's actually underrated. That's true. We get a discount on all kinds of different ways. Like they discount Fred VanVleet, they discount OG, they discount Pascal. We get a Canada discount. That's what I call it, the Canada discount. In the NBA media's eyes, there's always going to be a little bit of a discount on us or whatever about what we do, whether it's something we do good or, but if we do something bad, they're really just going to think that that's the true us. We can't win with it. It's all right. We don't want to, because we're that shark under the water. They don't know where we're coming from. Okay, click 2M at Paul B. This will be our big problem. How do we contain bigger centers? Yeah, I just talked about that. Other teams in the NBA don't have diversity. Yeah, there's some teams that have some diversity too. There's a couple West teams that have a lot of Euro players and players from around the world and stuff like that. But we are probably the most diverse team in the league, and we have been for like decades. We've always had think about back when we had Jose and Garboza and Bargnani. All those guys, we've always had international guys. We had in the very beginning, we had Vincenzo Esposito, let's see what else we got in here. They will let the big guys score, but they'll tire them out. But yeah, the big guys, I'm not worried about it. Like big guys can be big guys, in some ways, big guys don't win championships anymore. It used to be that way. In the old NBA, it was Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, Shaq, Olajuwon kind of days. But it's not really that way anymore. A center can be really a detriment to your team. Like if you remember when we had Valanciunas near the end, he seemed like he was kind of not really a part of the new NBA. He was more a part of the old past NBA. And players like Valanciunas are great, but they kind of get beat in some ways in the new NBA that in a bad way. I'd much rather be quicker and faster and strong than being slow and strong. You know, like with Precious, Kem's a little slow for a big guy, but he's our slowest big guy. The other big guys are all really fast and mobile and can get around really quick. And I think that that's more of a strength and maybe more indicative of where big men are going in the league as a whole, like in the future. These big pivots that take a lot of space and are slow and just clog up stuff, they have their place, and some teams will still build around them, but I don't think they're essential. I don't think they're essential to be a winning team. Like I know we had Gasol when we won the championship, and maybe that is something that we trade for during the season where we get one big pivot. Like maybe it is a Moses Brown deal for Dragic, and that helps us in this area. Because I know you guys are worried about this. This is a common topic that keeps coming up about our center and what we're going to do with big centers this year. We're just going to have to see. It may be that we let them have the center, but we beat the hell out of them all around them. So, all right, guys, it's about almost an hour right now. Seriously, let's really go for the second ring this year and believe, because the players believe. Fred believes. What OG said in his interview this week, he said, is the team is very confident. Somebody asked him, how do you think this team's going to do? Are you going to make the playoffs? How are you going to do? And he said, this team is very confident. That's what he said. OG is confident in the Raptors. So, and Fred says, fuck around and find out is what Fred's saying. Yeah, you can see what we do to see what we're all about. If somebody thinks we're not that good, come and find out. Yeah, we'll see. So, Gasol was a floor spreader and had high IQ, so a bit different than some of the other bigs. Yeah, Gasol was a great player. I loved Gasol for us in that championship year. It's sad that he's gone now. I don't know if he's officially retired like Powell did this year, but he's not in the NBA. So, but yeah, we might not need a guy like Gasol. Like Precious and Kem may be our center guys this year. I really think like it's just about opening the realm of possibility in our minds and understanding the clues that will show us during the season of whether this team can get up to the championship level as it goes. Because we're going to have to check in each month and see how the growth has been. Growth can happen really fast, guys. And if they get rolling and they have some success, confidence just snowballs like an avalanche. And then all of a sudden, we're a team that's just like riding high and just nasty because our shots are going in because we feel good, because we get them off defense, and we're just like pressuring guys, and we get some good quality wins over good teams that nobody thought that we were going to beat. And then all of a sudden, we're just steamrolling people. And at home, nobody wants to come to Toronto to play us because the crowd's so loud and the way we play is just all over them. It's just going to be a nightmare season for a lot of people against the Raptors this year. Like Philadelphia, a little bit has already seen the nightmare. Like Doc Rivers is going to have sleepless nights trying to prepare for playing against the Raptors this year. He is. He already seen it. He's upset. And a lot of these teams have to get their shit together. They don't have identities like we do. We have an identity that's in the franchise that permeates the organization. Other teams don't have this. We got to realize this. Like Washington has no identity as a franchise. Their identity is their team used to be named the Bullets, and Michael Jordan was around on that team at one point. Like, really, what is their identity from the team you saw the other night? They don't have a collective identity. So a lot of teams are going to be trying to find that. And meanwhile, we're going to just be trying to develop and get our guys all synergized together and on the same page. And if we don't have guys missing a lot of games this year, we're going to get that synergy faster because a lot of our problems have been guys missing games here and there over the last 2 years. Whether it was in the bubble season, too, we had a lot of injuries in that year, and we still had our best record. We had a better record in the bubble season than we did in our championship year, guys. So, all right, let's see. A couple more, and then I'll get off the old YouTube live stream here. I love it. Scotty Barnes' energy attracts young free agents here. Yeah, I think that people want to come here already anyway on the down low. I think that Champagny saying that he talked to 17 teams in this league, and it was a hands and above, easy decision that he wanted to come to Toronto. Says a lot right there. And yeah, we've been rested since March. Paul just brought it up again. That's another thing. We have all these things stacked up for us right now. Rested since March, getting our home crowd and energy back as a boost. We restocked our team. Our talent level is shot up way higher than it was last year even. I don't think people really realize what our talent level is at right now. I think that because we have so many like pretty even players that everybody's just kind of discounting us like, oh, well, who do they have? Who do they have? Well, we've got like 12 guys that probably, you know, some of them could start on all y'all's teams. I think most of our bench could probably start on some of the crappier teams in the East. Like Yuta could be a starter in Orlando, guys. Seriously. So we should aim high, expect good things, and good things will happen this year. So anybody, if you tell somebody that you think the Raptors can win a championship this year and they laugh at you and they say that they're a Raptor fan, ask them, why are you laughing? Are you a fan of the team or not? Because, you know, we should all be on the same page and be aiming high and going for it. And stop being so cynical. And don't let your Leafs fandom bleed into your Raptors fandom because they're separate. They're separate. The Leafs, we can treat them a certain way with like kind of like, I'm not sure. But with the Raptors, they've proven it. We can be sure about them. And they built it the right way. So let's be sure about them. Maybe we a little, I don't know, because I'd love the Leafs to win a Stanley Cup this year too. So, you know, what if both teams win this year? Let's get it all this year, Toronto. Come on, baby. Just win, baby. All right, I'll be back tomorrow between 8 and 11 for another live stream. Yeah, we're not rolling Stanley Johnson, Bembry, and Baines this year. No, that talent's out, and we got new talent. We are stocked. We are stocked to the roof with talent this year. And they're going to find out all the second units. Look at the bench points this year in games. See how our bench points are against other teams, stuff like that. That stat will tell you a lot. All right, guys, let's get this next ring, baby. Woo-hoo-hoo! I know it. I know it. I feel it. All right, Wednesday can't come fast enough. I want to beat Washington down again. And just keep, like I said, get on Instagram and follow all the Raptors. You're going to see all kinds of cool content and different things that these guys are doing, whether it's different products they're pushing or just like the activities they're doing during this week. You may even get little brief clips of them in practice and doing different things like that. So, all right. Have a great weekend, Raptors Nation. Be proud. Aim for a championship. Don't lowball us. We got to go high. Everybody was saying we weren't going to make the playoffs a month ago. Now they realize we're probably a playoff team. So now I'm putting it up higher. We're going to get a championship. All right, y'all. That's what's going on, baby. Champions, 2 of them. And let's make it a dynasty decade. 2020 is going to be our dynasty decade, guys. It is. I really believe that. We got a new Tim Duncan.